Hello everyone, it's been about a month since I've posted a video. I have been busy, I've been working on things. I just haven't had time to organize and post correctly. So I have a lot of videos in the can that are already recorded, but I have no idea what file folder they're in or what their contents are, so I have to go through and take care of it. Work took over about beginning of November and dominated everything for a period of time. COVID is really messing up my business. This isn't supposed to be political, so don't take it that way. I don't do politics here. But I'm thankful I live in Texas, where the COVID restrictions are more relaxed than, say, California or New York. California and New York, I wouldn't have a business anymore. It'd be gone, because they're just shut down, and they keep shutting down and keep shutting down. And I don't know how anyone exists in those states anymore. I know New York has a lot of people moving out due to those issues. I mean, you own a business, you own a restaurant, you own anything dealing with the public, unless it's Walmart, you're shut down. And, whether I agree or not, it's a different story. I'm just thankful I'm not in one of those states, because I would be gone. But to compensate, I have to wear two hats, so to speak. Some of you know I run an instructional service for college students, and we can get 100, 150 people in a room. That was last year at this time, before COVID hit. And there wouldn't be any issues with having 150 people in a room. It's just a lot of people, and a lot of people coming through the office. I mean, during finals for Texas A&M University, we would have, I'd say, 2,000-3,000 students a week coming through there. And with COVID, we can't do that. So part of my time is split making videos and doing in-person instruction, because we can be open to 75% capacity, just not full capacity. So instead of 150 in a room, we might have 80, to be honest, because we're not following the protocols strictly. That sounds wrong. We're being more cautious. Let's just put it that way. I could have far more people in the office than I have. I just decide not to, because I don't need the liabilities associated with it. Anyhow, because of the two hats, running a video service and an educational service, making the videos and teaching in-person classes, it leaves me no free time. It wears me out, and all sorts of other things happen. So for the last month and a half, I've had no time to do much of anything. What I have done is, there's been a few things I have done, okay? Right here, we have the high-grade Moon Gundam. And I've got videos of building him. He's not done. I haven't done any panel lighting, detail painting. He's going to get some detail painting. There are some issues with the kit. I had to use glue in a few places, like the head and the chest. It was not going to stay together for me. You might have a different experience. It was not going to stay together for me without some glue. So there had to be some glue on this guy. Okay. I also have the brand new high grade heavy arms here. Too many stickers on this kit, for my opinion. I understand why the stickers were there. I'm going to remove some of the stickers and paint it. He is here on the paint wait list. Okay. And one thing about this, Heavy Arms versus Moon, I mean, this is like a younger brother to Moon. Look how much smaller he is. I'm holding their feet at the same height, just so you can see. I could turn the camera around and point it at things, but I don't see the point. So I have Heavy Arms and Moon done. I'm currently working on 00 Quant. It's close to done. Actually, no, it's only about 2/3 of the way done. Again, life gets in the way and stops me, okay? I have about 4 or 5 weeks off right now, and during that time period, I started working on the Strike Freedom Lightning Edition, the 1/60th scale. Same scale as a perfect grade. I'm looking over at it, that's why I'm looking over to the side. Same scale as a perfect grade, but not a perfect grade by any way, shape, or means, okay? The details just aren't there. They're not. So it's more like a high-grade kit in perfect grade scale. It does have a lighting kit in it. And as soon as I get some freedom, I am going to start painting it. Now, I haven't really painted much other than by hand in a long time, okay? And I need to get back to it. Speaking of painting, I have another thing I want to try out. I haven't even opened the box. It's this guy, Okay? For those that don't do Gundam kits, and I'm going to explain some stuff about Gundam kits in a few minutes, they have Gundam markers. A lot of people who build Gundam kits just build them, and that's all they do. That's what I used to do back in college with some of my kits. I got enjoyment out of the building process, and it wasn't necessarily painting. Us painting started later, okay? What this is an airbrush designed to hold Gundam markers. Now, I'm going to have to get an adapter to my airline, to my air compressor, to get this to work. You basically, it's just a trigger for the air. You put the Gundam marker here, and you adjust the Gundam marker so the air is spraying past the Gundam marker, and it sprays the paint off the Gundam marker onto the model kit. Now, why Gundam markers? One, they're cheap. I have a Gundam marker set around here somewhere, probably not in hand, probably not within easy reach. No, it's not. And I don't want to do two parts of this video. I'll show that later. I know what box it has to be in at this point. I had an old high-grade kit, Hydra Gundam, that I was building, and the stickers on it were just absolutely horrible. And I do mean absolutely horrible. It was one of the first high-grade kits, so, you know, I get it. I understand why it was that way. But I bought a set of Gundam markers, and I wanted to try them and see what they were like, and all I could get was splotchy results. I could do better with a brush, and I did try brushing some of the paint from the paint marker on, and I still didn't like the results. So that got shelved. At that point, I shelved that kit. And I'm looking over at my Shelf Queens, and it's on the Shelf Queens. I have 2 or 3 of them on the Shelf Queens I can eliminate pretty quickly. And I probably will over this break, provided I have the free time to do so. There's a lot going on in my life. Anyhow, I want to try the Gundam markers with the airbrush attachment and see if they work. This is about $30 on Amazon if you look at the right place. Not too expensive. The Gundam markers are cheap, and they color match the Gundams very closely. They color match the plastic very closely. So if you didn't want to use the stickers, you could use the Gundam markers real easily. And if you know how to mask, paint masking would be fine. But quite often, your little Gundam kits will do wonders for them, just hand painting them and then putting a clear top coat on them. Speaking of Gundam kits, what is going on with Gundam kits? Okay, any of my long-term subscribers know I didn't start the channel building Gundam kits. I started the channel building things like Star Wars kits and other things. You look through the history of this channel, I have lots and lots of videos up there. Some of my first videos were building the Galaxy Quest. I can't remember the name of that model kit. The ship from Galaxy Quest, and I lit that thing up, fiber optics, the whole works, and I yearn to get back to that. The problem is COVID destroys too much of my free time, trying to keep my business going. There's nothing I can do about that. I'm stuck with that until it goes away, okay? Other part of it is I have 4 children. When I started this channel, I had 0 children, and they consume a lot of time. And it's not a regret thing. I don't regret the children. They are wonderful kids, and I love spending time with them, okay? Even the ones who are causing lots of drama in life right now, which I will not get into in this channel, but 2 of them are misbehaving pretty badly. I don't regret them. The good thing is they are all approaching school age, so that will change my life some because they will be in school instead of home. And it'll give me more free time to do things like painting. And painting is the big one. Painting with an airbrush has some setup time associated to it. You have to get your part set up. You have to get your airbrush set up. You have to clean your airbrush. You have to get your paints mixed. I mean, the list goes on, but I can't just spend 10 minutes and paint. I can spend 10 minutes and snap some parts off of sprue and put them together. And I've assembled a travel kit for working on my models. I don't have that travel kit with me. I'll make a separate video and do that. But I can carry a box to work with me, the model kit box with the travel kit in the model kit box. And that's all I carry. And if I have 20 minutes free at work, I got something I can do to relieve some stress. And that's mainly what model building is for me now. Now, the Gundam kits, they're plentiful, they're cheap. There is an awful lot of them. I mean, thousands upon thousands of variations of them. Bandai's been cranking these things out for a very, very long time. I'm going to walk away for a moment because I want to get something. And, well, it might be too far buried. It might take me too much to get to it without making a mess over here. I can keep talking while I'm digging it out. But what I'm getting is the first Gundam kit I bought. Okay? There weren't grades to the Gundam kits back then, and I was into the Robotech models at that time frame. And I really enjoyed putting those together because they were challenging. They had moving joints. Seams were horrible on them, but they had moving joints, amongst other things. And, you know, I liked what I saw there. Now, the copyright date on this is 1988, and I probably bought it in 1988. I bought it at a comic convention. There was a guy selling model kits there, and I'll show you the box. I put it together. I never painted it. Okay? It's the high new, and if you're a Gundam builder, you really know what this is. There's a couple of things that gun builders know. They know the high new, they know grandpa. I'll go get a grandpa. Okay? And this is on my shelf queen list because it needs to be finished. But I do have a grandpa. This is a grandpa. Grandpa's the RX-78, the first Gundam in the first Gundam TV show. And the new Gundam was kind of successor to Grandpa. This Grandpa needs paint and had a diorama planned for him. And I have all the parts for the diorama. I just have not painted him. Okay? Well, anyhow, getting back to Gundam kits. For those, I know some of you are just really diametric opposed to these Gundam kits. I mean, look at this guy. He needs to be painted. It was molded in color. It was really interesting. The fingers actually move on this kit, which for the time period was unique. You can see the fingers move if you take a look. High grade kits still don't do that. It has moving joints. Okay, it has. You can see the pistons actually. No, they don't work on this leg. They're fake. But this was a really nice kit for the time frame, and I'm finding things in this box I didn't know were in there. And we have the fin panels right here. They go on his back. Yeah, we got a limp fin panel. We have his weapons. Everything's in the box. He just needs paint. And this would be an interesting thing to get some Gundam markers and try to paint this guy with the Gundam markers and see what I can do with them. Okay? It'd be a good experiment, although this is my first Gundam kit, so maybe I should just put him on the shelf as is, as a testament to that time frame. How plasticky he looks. Okay? So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with him just yet, because they show the painted kit on the side of the box art. And nowadays you have a very different version of this kit that you can purchase. And if I move one little thing I can get to, I have to climb over something too, because this room is a complete mess, and I need to undo that mess. I'm going to, ignore that. That's the sound of model kits hitting the floor. That's one thing that's coming, is a purge of the model kits. I have far too many of them in this room. And I promised the wife I wouldn't let it get out of control, and it's gotten out of control. But the new version of this is this guy right here. Okay? Molded in color, highly detailed. It wouldn't look anything like that when it's done, although I think it's probably about the same scale. Okay? They've progressed dramatically over the years. I mean, that's probably more sprue than that whole other kit had in one package. And this comes with stand, clear stands. There's 2 stands here. Okay? So anyhow, why Gundam kits? One, again, they're not something I have to paint right away. They're something I can paint quickly. Hand painting, I'm relearning my hand painting skills with Gundam kits, which is a good thing. Okay? Second, if you take a look out there, there are hundreds of thousands of YouTube channels devoted to Gundam kits. The subscription count on those channels is ginormous, ranging from 10,000 to hundreds of thousands, okay? There are a lot of Gundam kit builders out there. Right now, I would say that's the future this hobby is moving towards. The youngins, they don't have time to spend painting and detailing and everything, these kits. So they don't. They enjoy the time putting them together. And as they progress, they start realizing, and they see other people. There are people who paint these things and detail them and dioramas, and some of that work is absolutely amazing, considering these Gundam kits can have 400 parts on them. The perfect grade kits can have 400 parts. And someone has painted all 400 parts and assembled it and made sure that while the joints are moving, nothing scratches the paint off. And you got parts sliding in and out of each other. I encountered that when I built the gun tank a little while ago. There were parts that moved in and out of each other, and I had to file down the clearances a little bit so the paint wouldn't scratch up as they're moving. That's something the youngins are slowly starting to learn as they start mastering it. After they've built like 20 or 30 of these things, they start asking themselves, what can I do to make this more rewarding? And they're slowly moving in the direction most of you are already at. Okay, you got to remember, these are 20, 25-year-old kids. They're not our age. Okay, when I started this channel, I could work on a model kit for 6 hours in a day and it wouldn't matter. Now the length of this video is too long for me to be up here right now. So why Gundam kits? Well, again, they can build them quickly. They're molded in color. I mean, if I pick up that big box I was showing you a minute ago and start going through the color count, there's going to be 10 or 15 colors in there. And Bandai bleeds that over some of the other kits. I'm trying to look around here. No, it's not where I can get it easy. I have a Shadow Trooper. And it's molded in color, and it's one of the premium colors. Yeah, it's Shadow Stormtrooper, 1/6 scale. I can see it. It's on the shelf up at the top. You might be able to see it on the camera if you look up there. It's about the fourth one down. Underneath the Weirdo Freddy, then there's a T2, and then there's a Shadow Stormtrooper. It's molded in color. It's pre-painted, and it is a beautiful kit. They might progress into something like that, and some of you wouldn't even flinch at building that, but yet you'd look at a Gundam kit and go, no, I can't do that, okay? And again, the Gundam kits exist. A lot of them are building them. They don't even know what a Gundam is, and they're building them, okay? I follow a couple of threads on Reddit where the Gundam builders are, and a lot of them profess, I don't even know what this is. It's just fun to put together. And again, I see that as the future of this hobby, and it doesn't mean the hobby's dead, it just means it's shifting and you don't see it. There's fewer and fewer car models to be found out there. You have to buy everything online. Same thing's true with the Gundam kits, but there's more and more Gundam kits every day. Bandai's releasing about 15, 20 new kits a year, and they sell millions of these kits as they release them. Bandai came out with the Star Wars kits a couple of years ago and just took over the market. That they were using all their experience on the Gundam kits when they did that. And it goes to show you how experienced they were. Plus, the Japanese market is very different than our market. They can get away with selling things there that we wouldn't even look twice at here. Because of price, detail, you know, most people have other hobbies in their lives than model building. Okay? Sorry, this is turning into a rant, but just explaining what's going on with the Gundam kits in case you haven't looked. And I know they can be confusing to start up because there's so many different variations. You got your high grade, your real grade, your perfect grade, your master grade, your no grade, your RE kits, your metal builds. You got all sorts of different ways to build a Gundam. And again, a lot of that's because they are selling those kits, and they're selling a lot of them. There are stores dedicated to them in Japan, and those kind of stores are starting to show up here in places, okay? Except for here, they're doing predominantly mail order. Well, COVID's keeping it that way for the moment. But anyhow, the Gundam kits, again, they're taking over popularity because you can just put them together and they look decent. You can start adding some detailing, they look better. You can start hand painting and they look better. And then, you see, you can do a gradual upgrading of your skills. Whereas if I pick up a car kit, I almost feel like I have to know what I'm doing to even open that box. And then painting it, good luck getting a good glossy paint job on a car. I've tried 2 or 3 times. I know how hard it is to get a perfectly smooth mirror finish when you're using paint. I've heard some of the Gundam people complain about it because it's like, how in the world do you do this? What they're doing instead is they're doing candy coats. They're doing metallics instead, because that's a lot more forgiving. You have to get that base coat down correctly. But the Gundam kits, the plastic is so smooth to begin with that you can get it's not hard to do that. And then you get your metallic coat, and then you put a candy coat over the top, and you have something that looks outstanding. And you've done little prep work, but yet you're painting and you're detailing. And there's also the hyper detail, is to take specifically designed tools, and they panel line, and they put rivet holes, and they put all sorts of stuff on them. I have some of those tools around here. I bought a few recently. A couple of them are glass files. That'll show up pretty soon in a video. And I've been using them lately, and I'm beginning to like them. The only problem is they're too wide. I did buy a cheap glass file on Amazon, and the expensive ones are way better than the cheap ones. So I know why the people are buying them, spending the money on the expensive ones. Because they don't leave file marks. When you file off your nub, it's smooth. There are no file marks. And that's one thing I'm learning from the Gundam community, is they take time and practice and learn how to remove the parts from the sprue so you don't sand them. And then when you do, they teach you tools to sand them so the nub marks don't show. And that's part of detailing a Gundam kit, is getting rid of those nub marks, because a lot of them just put a top coat on. They put their stickers on, top coat, and they're done. Okay? There are decals that can be put on, but you put decals on a Gundam kit, you're putting 100, 150 decals, and they're all tiny on this thing. And that can be mind-numbing at times. But there are decals to be done. In other words, it parallels our own hobby. You can gloss coat them, you can flat coat them, you can military coat them. So a lot of people are, again, moving in the direction our hobby has been. They're just not building realistic devices or realistic machines, okay? The engineering on these things are astounding. My wife is always amazed. She wants to see everything when I'm done building it. She doesn't really care about the kit itself, but what amazes her is when you bend this knee, how the armor plates are moving and separating. That just amazes her to see these armor plates moving and separating. This is a high-grade kit. This is the low end of the Gundam echelon right here. This is a high-grade kit, and it's doing this. This is one of the newer high-grade kits, by the way. And there's so much motion and freedom in this kit. Posability, I mean, you can pose it standing sideways like this, and it holds it. Only thing is, this guy's got a huge backpack. If you're familiar with the Moon Gundam, he's got this huge backpack, and it's really hard to pose him with the backpack on him. And it's supposed to be like this. Okay? Same thing's true with this little high grade, one of the newer ones. I had to use some glue on him too. And see, the concept of glue is foreign to them, and when the glue starts turning up, only the long-term builders really understand how the glue works. Like, you could pose this guy standing on one foot if you can get the balance issues right, and he'll hold the pose. That's some pretty amazing engineering when you come to think about it on this one kit, that it can stand one-footed. And I've almost got it. I got to balance. I'm going to pick up the camera and hold it down real quick so you can see this guy. And you can see he's balanced on one foot right there in a pretty awkward pose. It's amazing engineering, and that gets a lot of people into these kits as well. And you've noticed it on the Star Wars kits. The amount of detail on those Star Wars kits is astounding, and it's thanks to these little guys. Okay? Now, those are both high-grade kits. I have a master-grade kit right here. He's like my desk companion. It has the same thing with the armor, with the plate panels moving. You have gimmicks on these, like these thrusters on the back will open. And when you open one, the rest open. They close. These move. There's a lighting kit for this guy, so his chest lights up. Okay? The head can transform. He doesn't have moving fingers. He has some moving fingers. Like his thumb will move. The fingers don't open and close. He's got 4 or 5 different hands. Okay? If you've built any of the Stormtrooper kits from the Star Wars kits, you already know how these work because they're basically the same thing. The Star Wars kits are actually dumbed down from the Gundam kits and less complicated, if you can believe that. I don't know about General Grievous, who I'm looking at up there and I want to build soon. He might not be dumbed down. He might be equal to a master grade kit with the difficulty of him. Okay? And I'm surprised Bandai didn't put grading on their Star Wars kits. But anyhow, this video's gotten long enough. I need to get to work doing other things. I got employees who need to be paid, or they won't be employees for long. But anyhow, saying this, I'm just trying to explain why the Gundam kits, I've shifted over to them because I can build them with little free time. I can make progress. I can keep current with my skills somewhat. I'm relearning brush painting, and I'm relearning a few other tasks that I had when I was in college. Now, something just keeps eluding me. There was something I wanted to say about all this, and it keeps eluding me. Oh, there it is. The other thing I wanted to say about this is don't fix yourself in one genre. In other words, don't build only cars. Venture into some of the others. You learn a lot. Like, if you look at my old videos, I was venturing around a lot. And part of that is building my skills. I would take time and build a car model so I could learn how to glossy paint. And then I would shift to a dirty Star Wars model like a Cylon Raider so I could learn how to weather. Okay? Gundam sci-fi kits kind of wrap all of that together in one genre. Gundams are the same way. Some of them are glossy, some of them are dirty, some of them are beaten up. Like the Zaku's are always beaten up, and I see photos all the time of Zaku's with half an arm missing and mechanical bits hanging off the half arm. Okay? And they're dirty, they're rusted, they're beat up, like some of Dr. Cranky's cars are done. You know, and they're the ones who are venturing out of just snap it together land are starting to move into the land all of you are in. And I don't know if they'll ever venture into the car kits or the plane kits or the military. They might venture into sci-fi because Gundam is kind of sci-fi. But I don't know if they venture anywhere. Like, I see the Gundam builders venturing over into this stuff. Okay? This guy has sat without being touched for 6 months now. It's time for me to finish him. I only have like 5 steps left on the instructions and a bunch of hand brushing, and he's done. Okay? I mean, I've got his gun pack about 80% done. This is the gun backpack for him. It's about 80% done. There are some visible seam lines, which I am not proud of. But not too many, mainly across the backpack here. If I were to take the time, I could remove those seam lines by 1, either working correctly, or 2, using sprue and leftover parts to hide them. And yeah, that's what some of the Gundam builders are learning too. Is take a strip of sprue, put over a seam line, and now you don't have a seam line anymore, but you do have to paint it. So you can learn things by jumping out of your category and venturing around and looking, and I'm not regretting my time on the Gundam kits. They've interested me for a long time. And I'm acquiring more and more of them, but I'm also building more and more of them. I think I've gotten like 9 to 10 done this year, whereas if I was working on a sci-fi kit only, I might get 1. So I am building, I am working, I am painting. I'll start getting those videos posted really soon. Sorry if this ran on for a while. I'm going to quit. I'll be back with more soon.